Good evening, St. Lucia and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. You are tuned into 92.1 in the north and 91.1 in the south. Also, UTV Channel 124. Thank you so much, St. Lucia, for tuning in yet again to another episode of Speak On It. My name is Kernisha Flavien, and I want to welcome you to the 9th episode of the show this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those on Radio Land, thank you for staying with us. Those on the internet via Facebook and YouTube, we want to say thank you and welcome for taking the time out and spending time with us on Speak On It this evening. I want to say a good evening to everyone on our Facebook medium. Those on the Facebook page, good evening to you, our regular listeners of the show. Alvin Charles, Pinky King, Inester Westbrook, good evening to you. Tricia Mathre, good evening to you as well. Before we commence, I want to apologize for the break in transmission of the show last week, Monday. We had some technical difficulties, and that issue have been solved here by the technicians at HITZ FM, and we are back here again with another episode. As usual, we have a lot of information to share with you during the course of this evening's program, and it is a packed show. I also have a guest on this evening, and we also have a lot of information, as I related earlier, to share with you this evening. We will provide you now with the update of the ongoing projects in the different constituencies before I bring on my guests. Before I do so, good evening to those in the diaspora, London, England, Mullet Felix over there in London, England, as well as Lenita Dorval, good evening to you. Valerie over in Ontario, Canada, good evening to you as well. And also those in Barbados, St. Vincent, Antigua, and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean that are tuned in to Speak On It. Thank you so much. You are tuned into HITZ FM 92.1 and 91.1, and also streamed live on television on channel 124 UTV. So as I made mention, before I bring on my guests, I will provide you with an update as to the ongoing projects that are happening in the different constituencies. As you know, the parliamentary representatives continue to provide assistance and relief for the people of the different constituencies in terms of road rehabilitation, school rehabilitation, and all other relief that are needed by the constituents. Over in Soufrière Fort Saint-Jacques, over the weekend we saw the installation of the turf for the football pitch at the Soufrière Mini Stadium, and currently that work is being done and ongoing, heading into its final stages. Also, we will have an update on the Micoud North playing field, which is the parliamentary representative for Micoud North, the Honorable Gail T.C. Rigobert, as well as the turf being placed on the Dennery playing field as well, Dennery South playing field, with the parliamentary rep, the Honorable Edmund Estefan. So over the weekend, as I stated, the commencement of the turf being laid down on the Soufrière Mini Stadium over in Soufrière Fort Saint-Jacques. In Micoud North, work is ongoing on the Cemetery Road, and we will have an update from the parliamentary representative as it relates to the Micoud Cemetery Road.
So far, the contractor here has been able to complete substantial drainage and resident access. This job is on schedule to be completed in the coming weeks. We recently caught up with the district representative for the area, the Honorable Dr. Gail T.C. Rigobert.
I'm very excited to see the construction of this concrete road passing through the cemetery and onto Captain and into the PAC, which is Village Extension or New Extension Phase 1. I don't know whether you've been here on a day that we're burying loved ones. On a rainy day, it's muddy and almost impassable. On a very sunny day, it's very dusty. And I think that the residents have waited long enough for this relief, and you can tell from the excitement of residents that this certainly is a project that will bring much satisfaction to them. It is not just a road, it is access to economic opportunity. We noticed that there's a new pub to our right. Last night they had a fantastic event here. It has become the new hotspot in town. Again, access to economic opportunity, young entrepreneurs, capitalizing on the opening up of the community. And of course, we must mention that this road also means that we show some level of respect for our ancestors, our loved ones who are buried nearby. In time to come as well, we are considering the fencing of the cemetery. So you will see a general uplift of the neighborhood. I know the fisher folk are very excited, and we continue to work closely with them to ensure that we provide them with the necessary facilities, including good road access.
Coming up next. The voices of the people in Micoud North as it relates to the new extension road in Micoud.
For 52 years, and I am so happy and proud to see we having a nice road. We're going to have a nice road. I don't know for others, but I know for myself, I am happy. And thanks for the rep. Thanks, rep. Thanks again. God will bless you.
So far, so good,
So long we was waiting for that. Oh, praise God for today. Oh, we're not dying again. Glory. Yeah, I love it, my boy. Yes.
Good job.
Howard and Clay.
Nice one. Good
I like it.
I want my to buy gale bien, bel chemin, bel canal gale, to buy gale every area.
I like it a lot. We have to pass everywhere from Commander. No more in my city. I don't get no more. But I like that. I appreciate the road. Okay?
My name is Linus Dorville. I'm 55 years of age. I'm from Micoud, born and raised in Micoud. Yes. Now I can give my rep an extra plus for good progress in our community. Thank you, rep, ever so much. Yeah.
What do you think the road will do for the community?
Yeah, the road will do a lot for us. The road will do a lot for us because that road needed attention for the longest while. And thank you, rep, again for coming to our rescue. Yeah, so we can divert from the highway into the village. Yeah, and I could ride my bike easily on the road because
of Micoud North as it relates to the new extension road and how excited they are with that new road. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll bring on my guest this evening, so stay tuned to speak on it.
UTV. I know you got it. If you identify with the most pulsating, the most riveting, the most eye-capturing UTV. To advertise with UTV, dial 484-7588 or 572-7588. For some of the most competitive rates, amazing programming, and bang for your buck. The most popular streaming channel, UTV 124 on Facebook. Get it now. Check us out on Instagram at UTV 124. Email us utvslu@gmail.com. UTV. It's not just for me. It's definitely TV for you.
It's hurricane season. Know the BBCs of water safety. Boil or bleach and clean. Boil. Bring water to a rolling boil for at least 5 minutes. Cool and then use immediately or store in a clean container and seal until needed for use. Bleach. If you cannot boil water, use 8 drops of unscented bleach for each gallon of water. Stir and let stand for 30 minutes. Use immediately or store in a clean container and seal until needed for use. Clean. Always clean all containers with bleach and wash out thoroughly before storing water in them.
This message brought to you courtesy the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome to the entertainment nation on steroids. UTV and HITZ FM sinking the eyes and the ears of tomorrow today. Not only can you see it, you can feel it. Airing on channel 124 or tune into radio 92.1 FM is Trisha Lionel in the morning at 11. Also airing live with Lisa and the ever controversial Revolution with Christopher Hunt. That's right, we don't do it normal. Stay locked in with UTV and HITZ FM, channel 124 and 92.1 FM. UTV, TV for you.
Vision Express, for the best eye care and hearing services. One-stop location for all your eye care needs with 4 locations: Rodney Bay, Gablewoods, Castries, and Beaufort. Quality frames for kids, adults, and seniors. Frames starting from $195. Get your glasses ready in 1 hour. With a team of experienced ophthalmologists, Vision Express specializes in glaucoma treatment and management, cataract surgery, detached retina, and other minor and major eye surgeries in their state-of-the-art surgery center in Rodney Bay. Vision Express offers the very latest Angioplex OCT for diabetic retinopathy and glaucoma with micropulse, yellow laser, and Avastin treatment. Vision Express Hearing. Latest hearing aid technology, wax removal, hearing tests, and more. Vision Express. Call us today for all your eye care and hearing needs. Can you see me now?
Okay, thank you so much, St. Lucia, for staying locked to 92.1 and 91.1. Also, UTV Channel 124. Thank you so much again. You are tuned in to Speak On It, and we have our guest here this evening with us, the Director of Implementation in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mrs. Nancy Charles. Thank you again, Nancy, for taking the time out to be here with us this evening on Speak On It. Okay, so we have the Director of Implementation in with us on the program Speak On It, and what we want to touch on is the economic relief provided by the government during the COVID-19 pandemic. And if you can give us a brief information, Ms. Charles, on what all the information and all what the government put in place for the people of St. Lucia.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kernisha. Thank you so much for having me on your program tonight. And let me say good evening to your listeners. I heard you shouting out persons from the diaspora everywhere around St. Lucia and everywhere around the world. So let me say good evening, and it's my pleasure to be your first guest. I think I'm your first guest.
Yes, you are.
So it's my pleasure to be your first guest this evening. I thought this evening that it would have been important to remind St. Lucia and the diaspora in terms of the support the government of St. Lucia has provided to date with reference to COVID and our COVID relief program. As you would have been aware, from February or even way back December, January and February, whilst the world was monitoring what was happening with COVID, the government of St. Lucia, the Prime Minister, Honorable Alan Chasney, and his cabinet of ministers, they had taken a lot of preemptive action because based on his discussions with his counterparts in the international and the regional community, they had foreseen that something was coming and that we needed to prepare. And so the government of St. Lucia put a lot of things in motions in terms of, we were at the point of working on our budget as well, and the Prime Minister was working in presenting his budget, but there was a slight delay because he really wanted to see what the economic and the financial impact of COVID would have been. Unfortunately, St. Lucia, we had to undergo a total shutdown between the ending of March into April, where we had to shut down our country from both incoming visitors and outgoing. Everybody who was in St. Lucia was essentially stuck. And then we had a total lockdown where everybody, we stayed at home basically, I think, for about a week. And that is because working with the CMO and her team, we understood that once we had gotten to the situation where we felt that there was community spread, we needed to stop, we needed to stem the growth of community spread to ensure that we could keep the safety and the security of St. Lucians at bay. I must say, and I think every St. Lucian listening to me tonight can also say, with our hands raised to God the Father, but also saying a great thank you to the Cabinet of Ministers and the government of St. Lucia, that St. Lucia has continued to show that we have been at the forefront, and St. Lucia came out on top, and St. Lucia continues to be. And I think it is a lot because of our preemptive and because of some of the measures that we put in place to ensure that there was not the spread of the COVID virus throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia. You would also appreciate we had a lot of challenges dealing with persons trying to come in through the back door via Non-Nic and other regional countries, coming in via boat and so forth, and that presented a challenge. But thankfully, working with security, the team at CMO, and with the Corporation of St. Lucians, we got a lot of St. Lucians calling in saying, hey, I heard somebody coming via Non-Nic from that area, from that community. We were able to deal with it, so we're very grateful. However, the financial impact has been great on a lot of St. Lucians. So closing our borders, and you would appreciate that the mainstay of our economy at this time is tourism. And so closing our borders to incoming visitors proved to be a significant challenge for our tourism industry in general. And so you find a lot of persons who were employed within the tourism industry, meaning the persons who were employed with the hotels, persons who were employed with the fringe services being offered to visitors and to guests, our taxi drivers, even our airline workers to a certain extent, and the far-reaching consequences of all these people who depend on the tourism sector. Everything came to a grinding halt, everything was at a standstill, and persons just saw themselves facing unemployment. So the first thing the government did was to have discussions with NIC to ensure that persons, while this is not something that NIC normally offers, those of us who pay our NIC would appreciate that the only benefit you get from NIC is perhaps for women who are pregnant and having a baby, you get some sort of a benefit, you get your 3 months to save your baby and you get some grant from NIC, or if you get a sick leave, you get a 7-day or 14-day sick leave, or even a long-term sickness, then you get some benefit benefit from NIC. But when it comes to unemployment, this is not something that NIC traditionally gives. But the Prime Minister, in his wisdom, with the cabinet of ministers, and I have to say thanks to the team that the Prime Minister put together at the Ministry of Finance, coupled with Economic Development, Delivery Unit, and other private sector agencies, we incorporated a lot of the private sector, the banking sector, the business sector, the chamber, and all those persons. They came up with a number of suggestions, and one of the first priority of the government was to ensure that persons who had lost their job as a result of COVID, that there was some sort of an income that they would continue to get, albeit it would not be their full salary, but it would be something that would assist them in ensuring at least they can provide food on the table. And then there were discussions held with both WASCO and with Lucilec at the time as well, seeing and Flow and Digicel, seeing these were the utility service providers. It means that if persons were out of a job, they were home, they would still be consuming electricity and they would still be consuming water, but they would not have had the money to be able to pay their bills on time. And so there was that sort of negotiations as well with Lucilec and with WASCO to ensure that persons were given some sort of a moratorium on paying their bills. And so both Lucilec and WASCO offered, I think, a 3-month period where they gave a grace period for paying your bill, and they also ensured that during that period of time persons were not disconnected of either their water or their electricity. And that was as a result of negotiations and discussions with the government of St. Lucia. So the first priority of the government was to stabilize the lives and livelihood of people. It was to ensure that people can live, people can eat, and people can survive. Thanks to the NIC, the income support from the NIC came through. Initially, it was for a period of 3 months. Government also had discussions with them towards the end of that period, and it was renegotiated for an extended period of 6 months. And so NIC was able to provide that type of financial assistance for persons who were employed and making contributions to the NIC for a period of 6 months. However, and I have to say, I may not have the most updated information, but the information I have with reference to NIC is that as of August 20th, so we may have updated figures leading into September, the NIC had paid out a total of $36.2 million, and NIC had reached out to over 15,000 persons. So over 15,000 payments were made during that period of time, up until August 20th. The minimum, they ensured that persons got at least a minimum of 500. Now, in terms of the 500, the way NIC did the calculation, it's a little bit more technical, but in a simplified version, what they ensured was that based on the information submitted from your employer, if your employer continued to pay you a percentage or a small percentage of your salary, NIC would contribute to ensure that you meet the minimum, which is the 500. So if your employer was giving you $200 every month, NIC would only pay you the difference of the 300 to make up for the 500 to ensure that you had a minimum of 500. But I think the average payments, they said they would pay on average about $908 per person. Some people got as much as $2,000, $3,000, but it depends on what your salary scale was, and it depends on how much money your employer was giving you in terms of co-payments. So I think on behalf of the government of St. Lucia, we are very grateful to the NIC for that level of cooperation. Of course, we have gotten a lot of calls from persons saying that, can the government speak to the NIC and to see if the NIC will extend to another 3 months, because really and truly, whilst we have reopened, which is what I will get to perhaps a little later if we have time, whilst we have reopened, the economy in terms of the tourism sector, most of the hotels are not fully opened and so forth. So persons are not fully employed. A lot of persons are still home. They are unemployed as well. The next type of support that the government decided to provide was our feeding program. In fact, the feeding program even started before we had the NIC. Once we had the shutdown, the full shutdown, the government of St. Lucia ensured, because we could not give notice. I think there was a lot of criticisms as to why we should have given notice and tell people we will be shutting down so they can go and shop and do everything. But at the end of the day, it was the decision of the committee made with the team of health, and it was in the best interest of St. Lucia. And you look at it everywhere worldwide, hardly any country gave notice to say that we will be shutting down, so go and shop and crowd the supermarket and crowd the streets and so forth. And I think we did see some of that happening when we did some partial reopening to allow people. But the government via NEMO ensured that resources were provided, and the government indicated that via NEMO we needed to provide at least 10,000 food packages to distribute around the island for needy people, and not only needy people but people who were caught a little bit unawares because of the shutdown. So there may be people who had the financial means, but because the supermarkets and the shops were closed, they really and truly had very little, because I don't know that a lot of people store food in St. Lucia so much, so they had very little to eat and to feed their family. And so via NEMO and the disaster preparedness committees, and also in collaboration to a certain extent with the parliamentary representatives and the other agencies, I think the Red Cross was also involved in trying to ensure that persons on the ground were provided for. Persons got a grocery bag. I was heavily involved in that, so I can certainly tell you that we tried as much as possible to ensure that we gave the necessary. So there were toiletries in terms of toothpaste, toilet paper, bath soap, dishwashing liquid, some bleach and things like that. And in terms of food items, you had the basic rice, flour, sugar, and you had canned foods like tuna fish and corned beef and milk. We had pasta to a certain extent. So it was trying to ensure that there was a well-balanced diet and food available. And also for babies, we also made available pampers for the babies, and milk for the babies, and wipes, and some other things that people would require. So the government of St. Lucia was able to provide, I know for sure, at least 10,000 food packages to distribute around St. Lucia. And even after the 10,000 packages, there was still a lot of need, and the government made available a few more thousands. I'm not too sure about, maybe less than 5,000 again, but additionally some food items were made available for distribution, and that was to ensure that persons could eat. Once that week of feeding people via NEMO ended, we recognized that there was also a greater need, where you had a lot of the poor, the elderly, the indigent, a lot of those persons, people who were depending on the Department of Equity, for example, for their monthly and their weekly little supply. All those persons were finding themselves in a situation where they did not have food. And thanks to the SLHTA, who came on board, who said, hey, we have all these kitchens, we have some of those cooks, we have some food, a little bit of food item available, but if you want to work with us, we would be able to bring in some of our team members and use some of our kitchens and go around the island and feed the poor and the elderly and persons who are vulnerable in our society. And so the government engaged the SLHTA, but what we also wanted to do was to make sure that it was mandatory that the SLHTA use our local suppliers and use local foods. And that is because, as well, we were trying to kill two birds with one stone. Here you have, because of the shutdown and because you had very few visitors coming in, you had our farmers now who had production, they had crops, they had fruits, they had vegetables, and most of those farmers, their output was either the supermarket or the hotels. And because the hotels were closed, you had no sales going into the hotels, and the hotels now had a relationship with those farmers already. So the natural thing was to ensure that the SLHTA, using its resources and its route, used those farmers that they already had a relationship with to purchase whatever it is they had, whether it was the pumpkin, the plantain, the chives and sweet potatoes. And so the menus were set around locally available ground provisions and other foods, and to prepare at least 1,000 packages every Sunday. So at the time we were looking at feeding everybody every Sunday because that was a short gap measure. However, in deliberating with Cabinet and the Minister of Finance, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet felt that feeding people once a day was not enough. If you feed them only on a Sunday, it was not enough, and so we developed a program where we wanted to feed people on Mondays, Wednesdays, and on Sundays. But that still was not enough because then you had another 2 or 3 days in the week where persons had nothing to eat. And so in moving forward with the program, we collaborated with the St. Lucia Marketing Board and with the Department of Equity, where we put now a proper feeding program in place that was submitted to Cabinet for the approval. And so now the people were identified in the communities, and it wasn't, and what we found out, it was only the poor, the indigent, the elderly who were now in need. You had a lot of people who were working within the hotel sector, both spouses, maybe both the husband and the wife or the boyfriend and the girlfriend, both of them were employed within the tourism sector, and both of those persons were now out of a job. And perhaps even the parent that they were depending on, or they would go by their mother or their father or even a sibling to say, hey, I need some sugar, I need some rice. Those persons were probably offshoots of the tourism sector. So you now had a lot more persons in the community who were in need. And so working with the Department of Equity, we devised a program where the social transformation officers were able to go out into the community and to use that assessment tool to determine who were the additional people out there who were in need, which families that were really in need, people who had 2-3 kids and they really needed to feed them. And so we worked with the marketing board in putting together a good food, that's what we call it, a good food box. And in that good food box, we ensured that there were fruits and vegetables. We also ensured that there were local ground provisions. There were eggs in that good food box, and we also ensured that there was an additional protein, whether it was fish or chicken. So 1 week we would give everybody fish, the next week we would give everybody chicken, and all these were locally produced goods. So that provided an outlet for our farmers who now had crops and they had everything on the ground. And so the marketing board was SLHTA first was able to purchase from them, and then the St. Lucia Marketing Board took over and was able to purchase all those food items from them to create 1,000 boxes every week. So I think from about June 2nd or 3rd thereabout, we started the program, and every single week we delivered across St. Lucia to needy homes 1,000 food boxes. It cost the government about $3.5 million for a 3-month period to be able to provide that food box to everyone. But at the end of the day, I think it was money well spent in trying to ensure that we could feed our local St. Lucian people. So
yes, and also to provide a relief for the farmers.
Yes.
By selling or rather buying the produce from them, which will bring an income to help assist their family and whoever is dependent on them.
That is correct. And so here we were killing 2 birds with 1 stone. In ensuring that you feed people, and on the other hand in ensuring that the farmers had a ready market where they could sell their produce, and so they could get some sort of an income. Yes.
Okay, so what is the way forward as it relates to the NIC with the funds?
Well, with NIC, there have been a lot of requests from the general public, saying that a lot of the hotels and some of the offsprings of the tourism sector has not reopened. There's been a lot of requests for the NIC to consider an additional 3 months in addition to the 6 months, so that would make it 9 months. I am not too sure whether NIC is considering it, because based on the available fund and the available cash flow, that would be a decision and a determination for them to make. But I think it will be entirely up to NIC based on the resources and the availability of cash for them to continue to make that support available.
Okay, and what about those persons who did not contribute to the NIC?
Right.
Non-NIC
So we took care of the farmers because we ensured that the farmers had perhaps a ready market where they could sell their produce and they could get some cash, so they were taken care of. We took care of persons who were employed within the tourism sector and who were paying or contributors to NIC, and so it also meant that there now was a gap, because what we recognized that there were also a lot of St. Lucians who were in the informal sector, as we call it, and these persons were unemployed as a result of the shutdown and as a result of what was happening in the tourism industry, and also as a result of COVID, the shutdown and the protocols that we had put in place, but those persons were not registered with NIC. So right there and then we saw that there was a gap and there was a need to provide some support to those persons. And so the Department of Finance, in collaboration with Equity again, and with Office of the Prime Minister, we came up with the Income Support Program for non-NIC contributors. And so with the Income Support Program for non-NIC contributors, that program was specifically designed for persons who were unemployed as a result of COVID-19, but these were self-employed persons. And so we had to clarify very carefully to everyone that self-employed, for example, we had persons who were employed by a bakery, and so they were the baker for the bakery. But apparently maybe that bakery never paid NIC for that individual, and so because it says non-NIC, the baker who worked for the bakery applied for NIC contribution, for the non-NIC contribution, for example. And so you would recognize off the bat that that person would not qualify because that person is not self-employed. That person is actually employed by someone. And so one of the requisites that we put on the form with the Income Support Program was to ensure that in moving forward, whilst we were providing support for persons who were non-NIC contributors, we wanted those persons to now, in moving forward, register with NIC. We wanted them to see the benefits of now becoming part of the system, because there were too many people who are actually out of the system. There are vendors, the taxi drivers, of course some of them because of their age, they would not qualify in contributing to NIC, and that is unfortunate. But persons who are of age, you have taxi drivers who are out there who are 30 and odd, and those persons can register with the NIC as self-employed persons and make contributions so that in the interim, if anything happens, they can now get some support from NIC. So on the income support application form, we made it mandatory that persons who do qualify, that after receiving support from the income support program, that those persons should become registered with the NIC. So we executed the income support program, and in order to ensure that it was equitable and fair, so persons will not say, how come that one get this and I don't get that? And you had that happen with NIC. A lot of people were querying why some people get X money. So we put a flat rate across the board of providing 3 months support at $500 per month. And so persons who applied for the income support would qualify. If they meet the criteria, they would qualify for $500 times 3, so they would get $1,500. Of course, it had a lot of challenges, I'm sure you would appreciate. We still have quite a few persons who still have not gotten the income support program paid, and that is because based on the application, in order for you to qualify, you also had to show proof of you being self-employed. So for example, if you were a barber and you applied saying that I am Barber John and so forth, you would have to show proof that you actually are a barber, or else government can't just give people, you can't just come and say I'm a barber and you have no proof and then you get money. So we were asking persons to provide evidence or proof of who they say they are. So either you could provide a receipt, you could provide an invoice, you can provide a registration.
I think there was an option for providing an image as well.
There were options for providing images of what is it. Some people were doing coconut oil and things like that, so they gave them options of providing some of the images of the products as well. We tried as much as possible to facilitate people so that people did not disqualify. However, one of of the major disqualifications were if you were already receiving support from NIC, you could not double dip.
Right.
You could not get support from NIC and also get support from the income support program. So as a measure of ensuring that people were not double dipping, once we processed your application and you met most of the basic criteria, we double check your application with NIC. So NIC will run a quick check on the name Kernisha Flavien, your NIC number, and give us back a report indicating whether Kernisha Flavien is already receiving support from NIC. So if you're already receiving support from NIC, you would not qualify for the income support. A lot of people were very upset about that. People call us and saying all kind of things, you know. But it really was to ensure that everybody can get a little something.
Right.
It was not time for us to be greedy and selfish and so forth. It was a time to ensure that you can provide every single St. Lucian with a little kakada, something to just help you get by for the next 3-4 months, and to ensure at the end of the day that at least you can eat. It may not pay all your bills and it will not cover all your expenditure, but you could go to the supermarket and buy a pound of fish and you can buy a pound of rice and that you can eat. So that was the intention of the income support program, to capture that gap. So you had vendors, you had persons who were in jet ski operation, people who were doing tours, and I think it opened our eyes quite a bit to the number of persons who are in the informal sector who are really contributing to the development of our country in terms of what they do, but these people are not registered with any of the agencies. They're not on the Inland Revenue, they're not on NIC, they're not registered anywhere, and you want those persons to now become part of the system. You want to be able to capture those persons because government has a lot of other programs that it intends to roll out, especially for persons within the informal sector. For example, the National Health Insurance that we're planning to roll out. One of the major challenges or the setbacks that we have had is how do we account for the informal sector? So for the employed persons, the elderly, the poor, the indigent, we know we can know who these people are via equity and via other agencies, but the people in the informal sector, if we are to launch our national health insurance, we have no way of capturing them. And so the income support program was a very good way of ensuring that we were able to capture a lot of the people who are out there and to be able to assist them in coming into the system, so that when we roll out certain government programs, that these people can be beneficiaries of that program as well.
That's great. Oftentimes, Ms. Charles, you've heard that the government is not a government for the poor, and a lot of the information you have provided here this evening shows that the government is indeed a government for the poor and will continue to provide the relief and the needs that the people of St. Lucia is needing of. And it is great that the government has gone ahead and provided us with that relief in this pandemic, and we're looking forward to more initiatives by the government and more things being done to help the people of St. Lucia. As it relates to COVID-19, where do you see St. Lucia going after COVID?
Well, I don't know that St. Lucia has perhaps had a vision of being after COVID. The advice that is being given to us from the office of the CMO and the team at Ministry of Health is that we need to learn to live with COVID. Because unfortunately there has not been a cure for COVID, and there has not been a vaccine for COVID as well. And while some countries are doing well, you look at some countries who've had a resurgence in the rise of COVID. As economies continue to reopen slowly, you see there's a rise as schools reopen in various countries of the world, and even in our region, you see there is an increase. As you continue to open your economy for visitors and even returning nationals, you know there continues to be that level of an increase. So at the end of the day, it's going to be very challenging for us to imagine our world without COVID for now. So the advice being given is, how do we live with COVID? And so hence the reason we're advising St. Lucians to continue to practice the protocols. That is the only preventative measures that we have. So the protocols are that you continue to wash your hands as often as possible, and that you sanitize your hands as well as often as possible. The protocols are that you continue, if you have to cough or sneeze, inside your shoulders, and that you continue to wear a mask when you're out in public. Of course, if you're in your home and with your family, it's not necessary. But once you're going to be out there in public, you're going to be speaking to the public, then you need to wear the mask. And I think we continue to see what is happening internationally and regionally. The advice given by governments and health professionals throughout is that the most effective tool we've had to dealing with the spread of COVID is to wear your mask. With reference to the testing, that has helped a bit. I know St. Lucians have been, we've been in a back and forth. We've been criticized for ensuring that everybody who comes to St. Lucia has a PCR test. Returning nationals have been very iffy about it, and people have felt that the government is being too stringent in all those measures. However, I must let the public understand, or maybe we need to be reminded, that the reason St. Lucia has done so well with managing COVID, the reason we are where we are today with the management of COVID, is as a result of the strict protocols that we have put in place, and we have stuck to those protocols. I have to tell you, we have a very strong team at the Ministry of Health, and we have a very committed team at the cabinet level, so that when the team at the Ministry of Health, coupled with the other professionals and the technical people that we incorporate, which we call the command center, when they make the necessary recommendations to cabinet, sometimes there's a lot of back and forth. You have to look at all the issues and all the implications of those decisions. However, thankfully, the Cabinet of Ministers continue to support the team of health, that whatever recommendations they make, the Cabinet of Ministers, of course, we ask for certain tweaking and ensuring that it's flexible, so that, you know, the population can breathe. You do not want to keep people in chains at all time, but it is also ensured at the end of the day that St. Lucia could be very successful in its management of COVID. So today, in terms of the CDC, we're at a very low risk level. We've been, in terms of the tier where we're at, we've been downgraded to a tier 1. So all these are as a result of the protocols that we have put in place in St. Lucia to protect the safety, and the safety. That is what the Prime Minister continues to say all the time, that his priority is the health and safety of people. That has always been the priority. So as you say, this is a government that always looks out for people who are vulnerable. Whatever decisions that the government and the Cabinet of Ministers continue to make, these decisions are always in the interest of safety and security of the people.
That's great. Well, you heard it here from the Director of Implementation in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mistress Nancy Charles. And as of this moment, we will take a short break and we'll open the lines for your questions. You can give us a call at 489-4781. 489-4781. Stay tuned to speak on it. We'll take in a short break.
Let them talk, keep them talking. Hey, where?
Vision Express, for the best eye care and hearing services. One-stop location for all your eye care needs, with 4 locations: Rodney Bay, Gablewoods, Castries, and Beaufort. Quality frames for kids, adults, and seniors. Frames starting from $195. Get your glasses ready in 1 hour. With a team of experienced ophthalmologists, Vision Express specializes in glaucoma treatment and management, cataract surgery, detached retina, and other minor and major eye surgeries in their state-of-the-art surgery center in Rodney Bay. Vision Express offers the very latest Angioplex OCT for diabetic retinopathy and glaucoma with micropulse, yellow laser, and Avastin treatments. Vision Express Hearing. latest hearing aid technology, wax removal, hearing tests, and more. Vision Express. Call us today for all your eye care and hearing needs. Can you see me now?
In an effort to ensure patient and first responder safety, the St. Lucia Fire Service has reviewed its patient transfer procedures, especially for patients with respiratory distress. Face masks will be provided. At no time during transportation should the face mask be removed. Please be patient and cooperative during this time to ensure you receive the best possible care while keeping our first responders safe.
Is your hurricane emergency kit ready? If you need to evacuate quickly, you will need originals or certified copies of your NIS insurance card, health passport, national ID card, prescriptions, and other important health documents kept safe in waterproof Ziploc bags. Toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, sanitary, and other basic hygiene items. First aid kit, your prescription medications and supplies for chronic conditions. This is especially important for individuals living with chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and cancer. Be ready. Stay ready.
This message brought to you courtesy the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Keep talking.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to HITZ FM 92.1 and 91.1 in the South. Also streamed live on UTV Channel 124. We will open the lines and we will take your call. Before we take that call, just an update from the National Insurance Corporation as it relates to the report on the ERP applications. So far, a total number of applications processed, 60,058, and also the total amount paid to date, totaling $50 million. $50 million paid to date to St. Lucians. So you can give us a call at 489-4781, 489-4781, and let's speak on it. Good evening. Thank you for calling. Speak on it. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Speak on it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I tuned in late, so I didn't hear all of what you said. But I have a few questions for you as it relates to benefits for people that are not able to. As it relates to people who have no sort of income because of COVID-19, what do you have in place for those kinds of people?
Good evening, caller. Well, the income support program that we put in place was supposed to capture as many persons as possible who were unemployed as a result of COVID and who were in the informal sector. If you were unemployed prior to COVID, we've not put a program in place for persons who were unemployed prior to COVID as yet, but the income support program is what we put in place to ensure that we could capture persons within the informal sector.
Okay.
Any other questions, caller?
And in my case, I know some people like myself, our previous employers are victimizing us. They do not want to put our names down on the list for NIC support. And it's been months now we've been out of work and no sort of income, nothing, children to send to school, bills to pay, bills adding up. Isn't the employer
I did not hear your previous statement.
What's that?
I didn't hear your previous statement. What did you say about your employers?
I said my previous employer, myself and many other people I know, we are being victimized by our employer. Our employer doesn't want to put our name down and look for income support from NIC. And we have children to take care of, children in school.
But Caller, the NIC support program, it was a program where you had to apply. It was not your employer applying on your behalf. You had to apply, and then your employer had to provide NIC with the requisite information to complement your application. So did you apply to NIC, or were you under the understanding that it was your employer who had to apply for you?
Well, NIC told me my employer is the one who has to send in a list with the names of people who needed support.
Okay, can you speak a little louder? We can hardly hear what you're saying, caller.
NIC told me my employer would just need to send the information on our behalf. I went there on Friday, and that's what I was told on Friday.
We did get a lot of cases like that, caller, where persons had applied to NIC for the support, but NIC was not getting the information from the employers to complement and to complete the application. So NIC did come out and say that they had tried as much as possible to deal with it to a certain extent, but persons who came in, NIC would only know if persons came in and reported that they had applied and that the employer had not provided the information, and then you now had to get the Labor Department and the other various agencies involved to ensure that the employers provided the necessary information to NIC. It was a rather unfortunate situation where you had some employers who did not value their employees as much as they should have and submitted the necessary information. But I think from NIC's point of view, they tried as much as possible to reach out and to do everything possible to ensure that the employers provided the information.
Okay.
Thank you so much for calling.
Before I leave, one last thing.
Make it quick, caller.
Is there anything in place? Is there any programs in place that people who have not received any sort of income can benefit from?
Can you repeat that again, sir?
Is there any sort of program in place that people who have not received any kind of assistance that they can benefit from?
People who need any kind of assistance?
People who have not received any kind of assistance, is there any program that they can benefit from?
Well, at the moment, as I said to you, caller, to the best of my knowledge, there's not any program for persons who have just not gotten any assistance. There are various programs that government has put in place. Perhaps next week, if Kernisha will allow me, I can come back and speak to the other programs that government has, because we do have quite a few other programs that I would like to explain to the public, that persons can get support, funding program for small business persons, some sort of back-to-school support was given via SSDF. So there were quite a few other programs that government is contemplating and putting in place. So perhaps if the opportunity is provided to me next week, I can come and expound a bit on those, and maybe you can see where you fall into that.
All right, ladies. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for calling, sir. Okay, we have another call coming in. Thank you for calling. Speak on it. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for taking the call, and thanks, Nancy, for putting yourself again at the hands in front of the nation. A couple of things. I mean, I would dare, Nancy, that the next time you do come to speak to St. Lucians, that you not come with old data. You came with information. I'm sure you're not asked to show up on the show today, so you came with information from the 20th of August on NIC. A simple search would have actually shown the true figures from September 7th. What I do want to ask you is that at least give us the respect that we deserve, but however, can you speak to the following? With the non-NIC contributions that you've mentioned, how many persons have applied? How much money has been distributed? And will the program be extended, and any rules that are there that are not allowing people to benefit from the program be relaxed to allow them to get the money that they need? The other thing I'd like to ask Nancy, which you spoke about, and I'm hoping you can clarify, you mentioned 10,000 meals in the feeding program. Can you tell us, are those 10,000 meals a month? Are those 10,000 people? And how much is it costing the people of St. Lucia? We are tired of you coming on and just giving us words without detail. We require what it's costing us as taxpayers to make an informed decision about whether or not you'll have a job after the next election. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. I'm pretty sure you may have missed initially when I did give the figures with reference to the feeding program. So again, caller, if you missed it, the information that I gave, I am giving it to you again. For the feeding program, the government distributed 1,000 food packages every week throughout St. Lucia. The government worked in collaboration with the Department of Equity in terms of identifying those persons within the communities who were in need and ensuring that on a weekly basis they got a food box. Caller, the food box, as I said, and I will repeat again, contained fruits, vegetables, local ground provisions, eggs, and a protein. 1 week we gave fish and 1 week we gave chicken. I also said, caller, if you were listening, that we ran the program from June 3rd and it ended on the 24th of August, so for a 3-month period, and I said it costed the government of St. Lucia $3.5 million. So in case you missed it, caller, I am giving you the figures again. In terms of the NIC, the non-NIC contributors, thank you very much for asking that question. In terms of support, we have provided so far, we had 6,500 persons who applied for the income support program. To date, we only have, all the applications have been processed to date, caller. 600 of 98 is still pending approval. As I said, we worked in collaboration with NIC, so only 698 of them are still waiting for approval from NIC, and 900 of them were either suspended, waiting for persons to provide us additional information. So as we said, persons were supposed to provide proof, and so we have about 900 of them that we are waiting. We have sent them text messages, email, asking them to provide us with the additional information.
Okay, thank you for responding to that, caller. We'll take another call. Good evening. Thank you for calling. Speak on it. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Speak on it.
Yes, I'm speaking about those persons who working on the cruise ship. So what benefit you have for those people working on the cruise ship?
Good evening, caller. So persons who were working on the cruise ship did not qualify for the income support program because they did not form part of the self-employed, and that is because they were working for a company, and so they were getting the benefits and everything else that came with working for a company. We had a number of persons who were contributing as self-employed persons to the NIC, because you know, working on the cruise ship, your salary comes from overseas, it goes via your bank account, and some persons were not contributing to NIC, but some persons on their own contributed to NIC and they were able to benefit. So the encouragement, again, as I said, is all those persons who are within the informal sector, who are working, they are earning money, whether they're working for themselves or they're working for somebody. It is incumbent on them to ensure that they put themselves in a position that they can form part of the formal sector, that they can now contribute to NIC, whether it be on your own or whether you encourage your employer to contribute to the NIC on your behalf. But what we want to encourage persons is to be part of those programs, so that when something like that happens, there is a ready source of income for you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in and asking that question. And for the second caller who made mention of the that you did not have the information as it relates to the updated information. As she stated earlier on that she is giving information relating to August 20th, but I did provide the updated information that the NIC so far have paid over $15 million. Good evening. Thank you for calling. Speak on it. Hello? Yes, go ahead.
Good evening. Yeah, I just want to inform Nancy Charles that St. Lucia is a population of 170,000. That went to what I last checked. It was 170,000. When she's talking about 1,000 and all them programs they're talking about. And I will let her know. I heard the election is in March next year. I will be St. Lucia just to vote them out because
Okay, caller. Hello?
I mean, just because
caller? Okay, we lost that
bill.
call. Thank you for calling in. We have another call coming in. Good evening. Thank you for calling. Speak on it.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Do not let those SLP intimidate y'all. The SLP bankrupt St. Lucia. Okay? They bankrupt St. Lucia. When can you Prime Minister? They don't ask any question. Any question whatsoever. I want to remind them that unemployment was 25 and 50% respectively. I want to remind them that nobody will lend them $1. I want to remind them that VAT was 17% and if that take over, that will be 40-50%. Okay? Don't let them bully you. Don't let those SLP bully you. That's what it does. Okay? Tell them the facts. Give them the facts. And the what Kenny was giving them, Kenny to not fix the road. To not fix the road. To not fix the school, nothing. Okay? So let them bully you. The IMF has nothing to do with them. The first world countries have nothing to do with the SLP. Okay? SLP is on the blacklist of the first world countries. Okay? Those are the facts. The only friend SLP has is Maduro in Venezuela. That's the only friend they got. And Venezuela is on the blacklist. Is on the first world blacklist. Okay? Don't let them bully you. Don't let them bully you at all. That's how they are. Tell them back. That's what they finish. The only thing I want to see them get is 17 lakhs. They need to go up the world stage. They thief enough of our money. They thief enough of our money. That's SLP. You got to put them in the face. Don't let them bully you. They have no say. They have no say whatsoever.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in, sir, and giving your contribution. Have a good evening.
Al-Shasta is respected and loved all over the world. Okay? All over the world. Every minute a USA network is interviewing him or BBC. That used to happen with Kenya City. He has no friends. So tell us SLP to shut up and go to the world stage.
Okay, thank you so much for calling in, sir, and we look forward to your contribution next week. Thank you again. Good evening. Thank you for calling. Speak on it.
Oh, hello, good night. I just want to direct a question Nancy has. Nancy, you just said you got a fund that's for non-contributors to the NIC. Could you explain what do you mean by non-contributors?
Can you repeat your question, ma'am? Hello?
Yes. This question is for Nancy Charles. She said that they've got a fund that's for non-contributors to the NIC. I just need to know, what does she mean by non-contributors?
Oh, she's asking, what do you mean by non-contributors to the NIC?
I'm still on the line because I need to ask the second question.
Sorry, I'm not too sure what you mean by asking what is non-contributors. I think it's very simple. According to the laws of St. Lucia, Once you are employed, it is mandatory that you make a contribution to the National Insurance Corporation of 5%, and your employer makes a contribution on your behalf of 5%. It is mandatory. In terms of non-contributors, there are persons who are self-employed. They work for themselves. For example, we have vendors, taxi drivers. They do their little hustle. They do their thing on their own. And these people do not contribute to NIC, meaning that they do not make a payment to the NIC on their behalf. And so we categorize them as non-contributors to NIC.
Okay, so I understand that, because this is my second question. My second question remains. So if I'm working abroad and my employer does not contribute to the NIC, don't I become a non-contributor?
If you're working abroad and your employer is not able or cannot or does not contribute to NIC on your behalf, you can now register with NIC.
No.
You can make the contribution to NIC on your own.
Before you answer this question, understand what I did ask. I never asked anything about if I did or my employer does not. I asked you if my employer does not contribute to the NIC when I am abroad, when I am working from abroad, do I become a non-contributor?
Yes, you are a non-contributor because you're not contributing to the NIC.
Well, this is my third question. Should I have a chance to ask my third question, because you just answered the second question? Okay? You just answered my second question. This is the third part to it. And the third part to it remains. So if I am working abroad, that means if I am working on a cruise ship and my employer does not contribute to the NIC program, then that means I am now become a non-contributor and I am entitled to the funds that you are giving. Is that right or is that wrong? I just want a yes or a no. I do not want any other
caller, as I explained before, the income support program, the income support program for the non-NIC contributors are for self-employed persons. So the first part of it is that you're a non-contributor, but the second part is that you are self-employed. And I gave that explanation earlier on in the case of either somebody who's on the cruise ship or even in the case of where somebody was a baker, they were working for a bakery and they claim that person is not self-employed, that person is working for somebody. So in the case of the cruise ship worker, you are not self-employed, but you are working for somebody. So you have an employer and you are an employee. So technically, because you are an employee, you can either make your contribution on your own, so you can become you can make your contribution to the NIC on your own if your employer is not paying for you. So technically, you are an employee.
Okay, well, thank you so much, caller, for calling in and putting your question forward. We will take one call. It's 18 minutes past the hour of 7. We will take one more call and we will end this evening's program. The number to call, 4894781, 4894781. Good evening. Thank you for calling. Speak on it. Hello?
I was on the phone and I was cut off. So can I my
okay, ma'am, you had a chance to give us a call in. Can you give someone else a chance to make a contribution? You can, ma'am, you can always give us a call in next week. Thank you for calling. Speak on it. Good evening.
In reference to what Nancy Charles just said, in terms of non-contributing to the NIC, you said that self-employed persons do not pay NIC, right?
Can you repeat yourself, sir? We can hardly hear you.
I said the persons who don't pay NIC who are self-employed, and they don't pay NIC right there. So are you considering them as non-contributors? Hello?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, caller.
Okay, you hear now?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay, I was asking the persons who are self-employed, who own businesses, they are self-employed, right? are they considered non-contributors?
Persons who are self-employed, most of them are non-contributors to NIC.
Right, so here's the problem. There are a few persons that I know who have gone to the NIC to seek redress in terms of getting assistance. And the NIC is telling them they have no knowledge of that. When it comes to persons who have businesses who are self-employed, they did not do anything for them. They have nothing in place for them.
No, because the people who are self-employed, they do not go to NIC. The self-employed, people who are self-employed and non-NIC contributors, it is a government-run program. It's not an NIC-run program. So the form was made available online. The form was made available via phone, via social media, via television. We had ads running and so forth. So persons who had their own businesses, but they were not contributing to NIC, who were looking for some form of relief, they had to apply under that application form, not with NIC, because it is a non-NIC program.
But there are also persons who have filled that form and uploaded it like today. They can't get nothing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question. What you said?
There are people who have filled that form that you mentioned.
Yes.
And up to this day, they have not received nothing.
Well, caller, as I indicated to you, we have a lot of applications that are still pending, and that is as a result, for example, of persons we have who have submitted an application form, but the application form is missing information. So for example, very early o'clock, when we received the forms, we had asked persons to put in their banking details, for example. A lot of persons put in banking details, like say for example, they had a bank account, they put on the form, but that bank account was not active. And so when we processed the application and processed the payment, when it went to the bank said, hey, that bank account is not active. So we had to come back to the drawing board, try and reach out to those persons, get them to get a new bank account and reactivate the account. There were a lot of issues with the applications. Persons were supposed to provide proof, for example, of evidence of, just listen to me, give me a minute, or evidence of the business that they are in. As I indicated to you, we still have about 700 persons who we have reached out to, who the applications are pending, and we have reached out to them via text or email saying we have your application, but we need some more information. It's missing information, and we still have not received those information. We also have a set of application, as I said, that we double check with NIC. So we have a system where once we've processed you, we send it to NIC. So some of them are also pending the approval from NIC. So persons' applications are at various stages.
Here's what I'm trying to say to you. If the applications have problems when it comes to the banking information of certain individuals, right? You have the person's ID. You have their information in terms of their contact number and everything.
Yes.
Would it be prudent if there is a problem with their banking information? Would it be prudent if government or if the entity can write out checks to those people so they can go and cash out the bank instead of waiting until something is rectified?
I'm sorry, I
what
didn't
about checks?
understand the question.
Can they write checks to those people instead of waiting and having those people to wait for a little business sum of money just because the banking information is incorrect? Wouldn't they have written a check or something to those people? Call them in?
You have to understand that the monies that government is making available, these are monies that government have borrowed from financial agencies, regional, international, and there are certain criteria, and so government has to satisfy those persons that they have gone through a process that is fair. And so if your application is missing information, for example, we've called you or messaged you and say your application is missing information, it is incumbent on you to send that information so that your application can be processed in its entirety. The team at the government agencies cannot go ahead and cut you a check or make the payment available on the premise that at some point in time you will send the information for them. It doesn't work that way. So my appeal to persons who are listening to me, if you have gotten a call, if you've gotten a text message or an email indicating that your application is pending because we want further information, we need further proof, or we're seeking clarification, please provide that information so that we can process your application so that the process can be complete.
There are persons that I know who have never received an email requesting any kind of information, and all they got emails saying that, okay, your application has been whatever that is pending now for payment. That's all. But up to a day like today, we do a 14th of September now, and up to a day like today, nothing is happening. So what is the problem?
What I would advise you, if perhaps maybe tomorrow, God willing, you can call me at the office of the Prime Minister and you can give me the personal information of the person or the individual, and I can try and find out perhaps what may be the issue or where the glut is.
I have one last question.
So this is the end of our show this evening. Thank you so much for calling.
Let me ask one last question.
We look forward to your call.
Let me ask one last question.
Week. Yes, go ahead with your last question. Make it quick.
Nancy Charles, where did the $500,000 go to?
Where did the what?
The $500,000 go to?
What
in
is
$2011?
$500,000?
Yeah, the $500,000. That was written to the business money report. Where that money go to?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. $500,000 for where?
The check that was written in the business monthly report for $500,000. Where that money go to?
Oh, well, caller, there was a report that was done, and perhaps if you can get a copy of the report will tell you what happened with the $500,000.
Well, as far as the report is, it went to the personal account of a business money report.
Well, so why are you asking me that? Is my name the businessman name? Why am I the one you asking? It went into a businessman account. You know the businessman. Perhaps maybe you can call the businessman, or you can call his brother and ask his brother where the money went to. But don't call me and ask me about other people's business. I'm not privy to other people's business.
Thank you so much for calling. Thank you again. We look forward to your contribution next week, Monday, on Speak On It. We have come to an end of the show this evening. It was quite a packed show, I must say. Thank you so much, Nancy, for taking the time out and being with us here at HITZ FM 92.1. Indeed, and we were happy to have you here with us. Stay tuned next week, Monday rather, for another episode of Speak On It. Same place, same time. I am your host, Kernisha Flavien. Again, thank you for staying tuned. We look forward to seeing you next week, Monday. Have a productive week, everyone. Thank you.